Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. I'm going to turn this on for you. Thanks. All right, we are ready to get started this morning, so welcome. So glad you're all here this morning. I'm going to just kick us off with prayer today, and then we'll get started with Vanessa. We have a little background music for our prayer, in case you didn't notice. Dear God, thank you. Thank you for this time that we can be together today. Thank you for these women who prepared delicious food for us. Thank you for Vanessa being here and sharing her passions and her gifts with us this morning. I just praise you and ask that you would join us here in this space and show us what you have for us this morning. Please bring healing to all those who are sick today and not able to be here, and help all of our kiddos to stay healthy too. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, today I want to welcome back Vanessa Vincent, whom you met last week. She is also one of our small group leaders here at Real Moms. She's going to share with us a little bit more, continuing on the theme of connecting with your kids. But today we're going to look specifically at connecting with your kids musically. So we're going to have some music going today. And welcome. Come on up, Vanessa. You can share whatever else you want about your family, or I'll let you.
Utautamakuwa Ari yenko Meadowlands. Utautamakuwa Ari yenko Meadowlands. Utautamakuwa Ari yenko Meadowlands. Utautamakuwa Ari yenko Meadowlands.
Track of my time here so I don't go over. And I have a passion for connecting with kids via music. It was something that the Lord used really powerfully in a lot of important junctions in my life. And so he's just kind of grown this love and knowledge. My master's degree is in music education with specialization in the Suzuki method, if you've heard of that. But I teach piano, and I love doing baby music classes, things like that. So today I'm going to give you, hopefully, 3 fun tools to connect with your kids musically. And you don't have to know how to play an instrument, and you don't have to be a singer. So hopefully you'll find this fun. Also, I want you to just kind of get into the mindset of a child. So when we're practicing things, don't be up here, just be right here. Just kind of enjoy it and be in the moment. Okay. So everyone can connect musically, and we'll find out today that it really is our secret weapon for fun, changing the mood in your home, building trust, and boosting brain activity. These are the 3 ways that we're going to experience connecting with your kids via music today: dancing, drumming, and decibels. By decibels, I just mean listening to music, but I like the DDD thing, so I just went for decibels. By dancing, I am referring to a specific pattern of movement created by Anne Green Gilbert. She founded the Creative Dance Center in Seattle, Washington. And it's 8 fundamental movements that every human being goes through in a healthy prenatal environment. We also, healthy humans also move through these 8 physical movements postnatal as well. I would describe this as active play. By drumming, think of just natural, organic, universal sounds, not necessarily with an instrument, but just with your body. We can all stomp, snap, pat. You can play on the table. We're going to hint towards the Orff method here. This was something that was developed in the 1920s by Gunhild Keetman and Carl Orff. And part of the Orff method is they're pairing language and movement, or drumming. And I would call this verbal play and active play. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the benefits and fun ways to listen to music. It's really important to listen to new types of music from all different time periods and different cultures, But it's also really important to listen to music that you know and love, some like an old friend, hanging out with an old friend. I would call this restful and therapeutic play. Okay, so I'm going to have you step into a childlike state here for a minute and just experience music with me. So what I'd like you to do is stand up, find a place that you can move where you are not going to bump into anyone or anything. And we're going to start, just kind of get woken up here. And just make sure that you can spin around slowly. It doesn't have to be fast or anything. Just spin around 3 times and you're comfortable and safe. A full spin, yeah. Just check on the full spin. Good. Good job. Okay. So Okay, so I'm not going to explain what we're going to do first because I wouldn't do that with a kid. I will give you a couple prompts just so that you feel comfortable. We're going to start with 3 breaths in and out, and I'm counting to 7 on an inhale, counting to 5 on an exhale. You don't have to count, but that's what I'm doing. Then we're going to start with a brushing motion. And when you brush, make sure you remember to connect with your nose, chin, lips, ears, and anywhere you have a joint, just to wake up those areas, all the way head to toe and back up. When we spin, just again, be very safe and comfortable. You can have your arms out and spin around 3 times. If this is more comfortable and you want to hold hands out, you can do that. And then we're going to go right into a balance, just a simple one-legged balance. And you're going to feel like you might be a little shaky. That is the goal. We want you to almost get to that tippy point, but then bring yourself back. Okay? Okay, so let's try it. Go ahead. Let me actually, hold on one second. I'm going to do our breath first. So we're going to breathe in. Just give yourself a hug and squeeze that out. Good. Good. Okay, now we can start. Shrink down. Big stretch. Big march. This is just your right side. Okay, we're gonna cross. Other side. You guys are like the quietest music class ever. Nice job. So hopefully you felt good. You might have felt a little uncomfortable. That's okay. The more you do this, the better you get. But what's happening is we're moving through these 8 movements. So we took a breath, then we woke up our tactile senses. You can squeeze, you can pat, brush. Then we woke up our core with a big extension, and that can be vertical like this or horizontal. Our head to tail, that really just means your spine. So you're bringing some fluid to your spine, you're waking that up, wiggling. You can dive like a plane or fly like a bird and bend down. Remember, you're doing this with kids, so you want to be really imaginative and creative as best you can. Upper and lower means you're dividing yourself in half and you're isolating one half while moving the other half, and then reverse. So you can think of when you're playing piano, maybe you're sitting still, your legs aren't doing anything, but you're moving your top half. Or running, I guess is full body, but you get the idea there. Body sides, right and left, we're symmetrical, we're just dividing ourselves in half. And then you can also do eye tracking this way, if you want to include that in the body sides. Cross lateral, you want to cross your midline. So you're going to wake up and connect both sides of your brain by reaching across your midline. And then you can also do vertical eye tracking like this. And then your vestibular system. Your vestibular system is your balance system. This actually decreases with age, but if you do a little vestibular workout, you can increase it. Excuse me, just like physical therapy. And so again, you want to do spins or rolls on the floor to strengthen and awaken that system. I start my piano lessons and my music classes with brain dance, and this can be done with any type of music. Doesn't have to be classical. Any type of music is fun, but it just brings focus and attention to your whole body, so you're ready to learn. So you might have heard of like brain breaks. This is a similar thing to a brain break. Okay, so how do you do this with your babies and kids? So 0 to 18 months, they're going to be lying down. Just find a cozy blanket that won't get in their way of movement. And then I would recommend a onesie, so their arms and legs are uninhibited. And you will model these movements, the 8 that we just talked about, but you'll also physically move their little half. This is another mental challenge. So move to 8 repetitions, and then now try moving through space. So you're not just standing still on a blanket, you're going to march across the room and back. And if you're standing in front of me, I'm going to march forward, you have to move backwards. So we're increasing our nonverbal communication and cooperation. I'm moving backwards, you're moving forwards. I go to my left, you go to your right. Ages 8 to 9, cut the repetitions in half again. So you're at 4 repetitions. And then you can also, at this age, without too much stress, it's kind of a fun challenge for them to group the repetitions. So you're at 4 repetitions, do 2 things with your right side, do 2 with your left, and create that pattern for them. And again, you can move through space now at this age, and they're able to come back to you. And then ages 10 through 11, different movements can now be grouped into a 4-beat pattern. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each action is only produced one time, but it's in a group of 4. That's a fun mental challenge for them. And then just go crazy with that. Like 4th to 5th grade age, they love when you're silly. So just go for it, and you know that. Okay. So some benefits of the brain dance. Taking a breath, moving, you're increasing your oxygen. So you're giving more oxygen to your brain and your body. This is shown to reduce stress and increase focus. You're also increasing the synovial fluid in your joints. So you might just feel more comfortable in your body. Just kind of take a little bit of that stress off, and just your muscles are going to relax. It develops core strength through extension. And then, excuse me, you automatically, without any effort in your brain, you're going to release serotonin and dopamine. So you're going to feel better. This was a little aha moment for me. Baby blues happened to me. It was very unexpected, but I noticed that when I was engaging musically and physically, and I just felt better. So think about if you have a crabby baby or a fussy baby or a toddler that's just off that day, moving to music with you, their favorite person, who you're giving them your full attention, all that dopamine and serotonin is going to be released, and they're going to start to feel better. And I saw this last night at piano lessons. My I have a kindergarten and first grade girl. They came in and they were so sweet and so excited, and they just started doing everything with me. And then I have a fourth grade boy, and he was like, so tired from school. Just been a really long day. I'm like, okay, I get it. Your piano lesson's at 6:30 at night. You've probably been up for 12 hours. We started the brain dance, and as soon as we did this, he burst up. He was like fully charged, energized. He was smiling and laughing, spun around as fast as he could, and we had a great piano lesson. So it does help to just boost the mood. Again, this is sensory motor development. So in medicine, it's your proprioceptive system or your kinesthetic system. You want to create those pathways in the brain that help connect the brain and the body so you can move through life with greater ease. And the other word that has kind of come up is regulation of body and brain. So I have a list of a typical kid, or a kid with a typical proprioceptive healthy system. So this is what you would see in them. They can adjust their body to avoid bumping or crashing into things. Excuse me. Able to adjust their body when they're under covers, and they can step out of bed and not just roll or fall out of bed. They can slide off or step off a chair and not just fall off of a chair. They have a strong sense of understanding their space and their neighbor's space, someone else that's close to them. They can enjoy physical play, wrestling, any gross motor activity, sports. And this is something I saw in school. They tolerate transitions well. So think of lining up in school or changing classes. Some kids just get really irritated when you move them from, say, like for me, an activity on the floor to lining up to transition to class. So in those cases, I would do my brain dance at the beginning and the end of class to get them up, get them moving, and then they can transition physically to another activity mentally, where they're like, okay, now we're going to reading or something. So those are some ways to brain dance, some benefits of brain dance. I'm happy to answer any questions later. If anything comes to mind, just jot it down and we can talk about it. Okay, so let's experience drumming. What we're going to do is you're going to copy my words, and you can stay seated for this. You're going to copy my words, but you're going to create your own percussive sound. Okay, and we're going to use I'm going to go to the next slide here. We're going to use a book we probably all know, Brown Bear, Brown Bear. And when you think of creating sound, if you want to use your body, just think of high, something up here, middle, and then feet or legs are low. So don't do what I do this time with my body. Do your own thing. And you can also use the table, a chair, and think like a kid. Kids are not going to be super quiet and controlled. You can be silly and loud. That's okay. So what we're going to do is go through from brown bear, left to right, then down to green frog, then down to goldfish. We'll end with children, And then that bold phrase, bold phrase, that's what we see. We're going to all say that at the same time and play our drum at the same time. So we have a big finish. What I'm doing with you right now, you could just like dive in with your elementary student or something and do this. But what I'm envisioning is you've read Brown Bear a bunch before. It's a winter day. You're cuddled up on the couch. You've read like 100 books. Brown Bear comes up again. And you're like, let's try something new. Let's play a little bit. Maybe you have them guess which animal you drum. If I do this, which animal could it be? Brown bear. Goldfish, right? So they could guess. But then if I do this, yellow duck, it's different, right? So you can start maybe at that level to play a little bit, and you can use any book that has repetition, and most picture books do. But I want to show you like a end process experience making music together that way. Okay, so you ready? Ready to try it? Okay, so copy my words, but then make your own sound. 1, 2, ready, go. Brown bear. Red bird. Yellow duck. Blue horse. Green frog. You guys are just patting your legs. Mix it up. Come on. Purple cat. White dog. Black sheep. Goldfish. Teacher. Children. And together, that's what we see. Good job. Good job, guys. I know. It is harder not to copy when you're not used to this, but. Do you want to ask a question? Yeah.
So, are you supposed to do a different combination or sound with each animal?
You don't have to.
Like each one needs to be different. And
Yeah. So you don't have to. And probably it wouldn't happen unless your kid has experienced this elsewhere. It's something new. You're kind of introducing a new physical language, right? If your kids go to school in Carmel, all the music teachers in Carmel are trained in the Orff philosophy. They've taken at least one brain dance class, and they use body percussion regularly. So you might be surprised what your kids will come up with if they're experiencing that in music class. I'm sure there's other, Noblesville, Westville, I know a few, but all the music teachers in Carmel are trained in these two philosophies. So this is just playful, and again, it's very childlike, so there's no perfect way to do it. There's no per se rules where you're going to mess it up. Just have fun with it. I thought of a couple other books, Boom Chicka Boom, Jazz Baby, Click Clack Moo. I don't know if you guys can think of some other ones that have a nice repetitive phrase. Anything like that, just branch out and try something new with your body, with furniture, with a container. I guess a note on instruments, I personally think a real instrument is more satisfying than a toy instrument. So I would personally gravitate away towards anything that's plastic, but whatever works, whatever you have. Even spoons clacking together are really satisfying. My son was using the pizza cutter, that sound. That's what he was using the other day. So, okay, how do we drum at home? When you have an infant, you're going to lay them on their back or hold them, take their socks off, and listen to music and tap the steady beat on their feet. Their feet are the most sensitive part of their body right now. So this will establish a steady beat in their body, and it's very stimulating to them. So if you need to wake them up, that could be a fun way to do it. 9 to 24 months, you can hold them. You can have them seated, whatever position works is fine. you're going to lead and model moving their body and moving yours. It's going to look clumsy. That's normal. That it shouldn't be crisp, right? So just let them experience those movements and drum as you're listening to music. And then 24 plus months, if they're speaking, they can connect the words and their movements. But if they're not, that's okay too. They're still connecting the syllables of words with sound from you modeling it. And again, it's your body, furniture, containers, and think high, middle, and low if you're going to use your body. And again, it is really satisfying if kids aren't verbal yet, that they are communicating with you. And they see you smile, and they see that eye contact, and you're giving them all that positive reinforcement. Here are some benefits of drumming. Social skills and group collaboration. You're taking turns, you're sharing space, it's nonverbal communication. Kids are problem solving. They're choosing where on their body they're making a sound or with what. They're finding the beat, they're finding rhythm. 0 to first grade is your ideal time for helping them to develop a tuneful, beatful, and artful response to music. So this is a really fun and beneficial way to play. And then this study was kind of fun. Oxford University study showed that participatory music, such as drumming, triggers the release of endorphins, resulting in happier, more joyful emotions. The interesting part is this. There was a group of drummers playing together that released more endorphins than people drumming alone. So connecting with others was happier than making music by yourself. It contributed to the bonding experience. Scientists compared this to endorphins released when simply listening to music as well, and the effects were different. They say the flow state releases more endorphins, and if you don't know that term, you can just think of being like in the zone, which could be anything. You know, there's kids that are in the zone when they're reading or playing sports, all those things when they're just like, the world is gone and I'm doing this. That's that flow state where there's the max amount of endorphins released. Okay, so lastly, we're going to talk about listening to music. Have you heard of the Mozart effect? It's not true. There is no special magical music that makes you smarter or happier. It's important to have a variety of music to get those endorphins flowing, but everybody's different. The study that I remember is there was a group of people in a pre-operative environment, so getting ready for surgery. One group was, or all three groups were offered Valium for their anxiety, a playlist that the nurses selected, or the opportunity to create their own playlist. So all three of these groups are going into surgery. They're all anxious, nervous. The group that got to listen to music that they selected, their anxiety reduced the most. So it's really what's comfortable and fun for you. Now your preferences might change or be added on to throughout the years. That's great, that's normal, but just find something that's fun. So you can do all these activities with things that are fun for you. Okay, here's some guidelines for listening. For any age, you can hold, sway, rock, dance, or sit with your baby or child while listening. You can cozy up, blankets, pillows, you can relax. The goal here is to release endorphins in a combination of ways. So you're hearing new music and you're hearing familiar music. Music with or without words is fine, and nature music is fine. All those things work to give us these wonderful benefits. Something that I learned in music ed was this category of music called song tales. It's American folk stories sung set to music. and they are absolutely mesmerized. Kids are absolutely mesmerized by these. They're very detailed. If you have a very visual kid, they're going to get a lot of feedback from these words. But when I first started using them in class, I thought, oh man, these are so detailed, they're going to lose focus and forget. But exact opposite happens. They could recall and tell me the details. They could tell me what happened, the progression from point A to point B. And it's just because there's a different side of your brain that's activating. I'm going to correct myself. When you're listening to music, with words or without, all sides of your brain are working, not just one section. Music flows front, back, right, left, top, bottom. Everything is working, not just one section for math or reading or gross motor or anything like that. Okay, so song tales, and those are in my resources. If you want to try that, it's a great quiet time activity, room time activity, things like that. In the car too, if you need just to quiet things down. Okay, so just a couple notes on singing. Children's vocal cords are shorter than adults' vocal cords. From the age of 0 to 8, I think, their vocal cords are 2 to 8 millimeters long. As an adult will have an 8 to 16 millimeter long vocal cord. The longer your vocal cords, the lower you can speak and sing. So, and I don't know why people do this still, but you will notice now, a lot of times, nursery rhymes or kid songs are sung at a level in a key that's comfortable for an adult, so it's lower. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. That's low for a kid. You be the one that's a little bit uncomfortable and sing, twinkle, twinkle, little star. Takes a little bit more effort for me, but it's going to make the child more comfortable so they can sing in their range. Also, please, please, please be aware of the volume of music. This is Sunday morning at church, outdoor concerts, even kids' toys. Volume is really important because it will sustain your ear health, your ability to hear for longer. iPhones and Android phones have a decibel reader built in. If you look on that heart, I have an iPhone, so it's a heart setting, the health setting. Scroll down, there's a little ear. Click on that, you've got an instant decibel reader. Things like, my example was hair dryer is 90 decibels. Right now, this sound in here is probably 30 to 40 decibels. So you want to be under 70 if you're going to listen to music or have a toy going on in your house for a prolonged period of time. Okay. And some benefits for listening. We talked about cultural awareness and curiosity through new music. Other countries and other areas of the U.S. even prefer different tonal centers, and that just means different keys or the way that they're organizing their melody. They're also going to organize their rhythms differently. So if we're listening to music from other countries, we're hearing new ways to organize sound and math, really. This is something where I learned something new about my kids. So Gretchen loves Latin music and Disney music and American folk songs. Gabe, he loves country music, something with a twangy guitar, a really strong beat, and he also likes lo-fi, if you know what that is. It's like this hip, chill music. My husband listens to it when he is doing work sometimes. There's no words, it's just a steady beat and just clubby. He likes it. Learn something new. Gretchen thinks it's boring. That's okay. We're just introducing new things. Kids also really don't have a strong preference for language either. So you can play a song in another language. They're just going to enjoy the sounds. They're not going to worry too much about what it says. You might want to know what it says, and you can do that, easy Google search, but they're not going to be bothered by that usually. The reason I said it's therapeutic and bonding is because the same chemicals that are released when you're nursing are released when you're listening to music with someone else. Prolactin and oxytocin are released. Those are the trust and bonding chemicals. Also reduces stress because it reduces cortisol levels in our body. And our cells, scientists have found that our cells actually move to the tempo that we're listening to. So if you need motivation, if you need a little get up and go, you can listen to faster music, and your cells will physically move faster, and it will help you move. If you need to calm down and rest, play something that's a little slower tempo. Dopamine is released, and then also if you have a cold, the way that your body fights cold is by increasing your IgA production, your immunoglobulin A production, which has to do with your mucous membranes. That's released and increased. That production is increased when we're listening to music. Your natural killer cells production is increased, and your T cell production is increased. So all these little things can help boost. It's just another layer of health for us, our babies, and the people in our family. So friends, thanks for letting me share my passion with you. I do have a list of resources here. I forgot to mention one that I really like. It's called Mother Goose Time Curriculum and Dance and Beats on YouTube. It's another fun way to get movement in your house. I started using it last winter. We would just start our school day with some big movement. And I would say it works well for maybe kindergarten, first grade up. Gabe can't really do dance and beats yet, but he likes to try and join along. So, yeah, here's some resources. Happy to answer any more questions. And then if you feel like, gosh, you don't know where to start or you don't have anything, I have 2 freebies here. This is just a book. You can just come, whoever wants these can have them. I'm happy to give these away. This is just a book of action rhymes and poems. And then this is a really beautiful recording of 2 Australian singers. You get a little bit of an accent there of classic nursery rhymes set to music. Gretchen sat and listened to this for like 30 minutes, just total peace. It's super zen. So this is a fun resource. You're welcome to have these too. But if there's not any questions, then we can just move on and enjoy the day. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good question. There's no aging out, but it is best to start young because you're creating pathways that lay a foundation for further growth and development. So for example, I had a 5th grader who, when we got down on the ground, he couldn't crawl. He was a super bright kid, totally fine in school, couldn't crawl. After a few weeks of trying it, he got it. And it just so happened, in this case, his mom was a teacher with me, just talking about what we did in music that day. And she's like, how did Ian do with the crawling? I'm like, he couldn't do it, actually. I was really surprised. He never learned to crawl. He just went right to walking. So my question to her was, how was reading acquisition for him? She's like, it was a little rocky at first. So for whatever reason, that crawling motion and literacy are connected. And he can read beautifully now. He was a voracious reader at that point, but that motion was just a pathway that was never established for him. So in 5th grade, we established it, and he was fine. So does that answer your question? Yeah. Yeah. Anything else come to mind? Okay, great. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Move into our groups now? Okay.